Good evening and welcome to Talking V8s. Tonight I'm joined by a national points champion, former world champion, Kev Stutchbury. Welcome, Kev, and thank you for talking with me tonight.
No problems.
Can you tell me how you first became involved in racing?
My dad's always been a keen stock car follower and stuff, and sort of went. He took me spectating, and then my brother when he started, I went with help him, and just from there really.
At what age did you take it serious and a serious interest in the stock car scene?
From a young age, probably 8, 9, had always been, like I say, I went with dad to spectate to the World Final, to any sort of meeting. And then when my brother got his car, I was always interested in going to help him and go to the meetings with him. And from there, it's just carried on.
You've mentioned your brother Neil, who was involved in racing. How big an influence was he to you?
Definitely a big influence in my racing. I mean, without his sort of help and financially and helping me out with other stuff, I definitely wouldn't be racing now. And I probably a long time ago would have been racing. So yeah, he's played a big part in my racing and a big influence in it really, yeah.
So do you feel that Neil was the person you looked up to in racing during your younger years then?
Yeah, for parts of it I'd say yes, he'd done what he wanted to do, got the superstar, and I wanted to do that. But then I suppose, unfortunately, for Neil had bad luck in his sort of racing where he didn't win quite as much as he could have won. And where I wanted to I wanted to win the points and stuff like that, I suppose. Yeah, Neil, good racer, but I just don't know. He could go past a car 2 or 3 times, then he'd hit it. So one of those. I mean, remembering watching him around Stoke, and he's like, when Stoke used to be really bumpy, and it was posting wire fencing, and it's like there was one quick line, he found it, and that was right to the outside. And I'm sure I've never seen anyone else do that line, but it's so fast, he's just going around everyone. But one side movement, it was game over, but they seemed to get away with it.
So you probably learned quite a bit then from that.
Yeah, a little bit. I think if you put some of my skills in his, it could be a dangerous combination together. I'm sure.
So were you involved in racing any other formulas before racing V8s?
Not really. I mean, when I was at school, there used to be a karting club at Silverstone. I used to go to like on a Thursday evening, but it was nothing serious. There weren't no sort of. It was a bit of fun, really.
Yeah.
Sort of learn a bit of basics, but nothing. They weren't nothing major. V8s was my first sort of proper racing series, really.
Do you think the time Neil was racing was tougher than it is now?
Definitely, I'd say definitely. I mean, some of the stories I've heard of how hard and they used to hit each other. I think it's Keith Chambers and Phil Haig. They had a bit of a do at Buxton where they ripped the fence to pieces. I heard stories like that.
Crikey.
And yeah, no, they used to have to qualify for World Final. They had semi-finals. So, do you know what I mean? If you didn't make your semi and didn't get in the world, yeah, so that would have been a lot harder, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
For the World Final. I mean, we've been lucky. It just goes on points. So yeah.
Point system. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been racing for quite a few years now in the V8 formula. Which time would you say was the best?
It's hard. It's hard to pick a time what was the best. Every sort of time I've enjoyed, and they're not really. When I started racing Mick Rogers, who was at the top, and then 2010s and like mid, you had like Chris BriSCA and Chris Fort and Craig Smith. It's all been good. I wouldn't say I could pick one what stands out the most. It's hard to choose. Yeah, it's all enjoyed every bit of it really.
Can you tell us about your first big win?
First big win. I don't know. The points, I suppose. The points. Well, my world final. My first world final was a bit of a shock because when I won that, I weren't expecting it. I just done my new shower car, and I weren't confident with it. It's like I just weren't happy with it. I went to King's Lynn. And I thought I'm just going to go around the outside and keep out of trouble. I'd done that for a few laps, and it was quick. It was I was finding drive, and I think there was a bit of a tangle up in front of me, and everyone went everywhere. And the next thing, I was in second and chasing Darren Cottrell. And I thought that Darren back in those days, he was a hard man to pass. I mean, you had to get rid of him and do it properly. Always next bends, he was going to have you. So that's what I just waited my moment, sat there, and I just chose the right moment. I just thought there was a car turning in. I just put him straight over the front of this car, and that's it, really. That's probably, and the rest was history. I sort of drove away and never to be seen again.
Get past, that's it, gone.
Yeah.
Which would we say is your favourite track to race at?
I'd say probably Skegness. Skegness, yeah, that's standing out. Or Mildenhall. I like little tracks. I'm not so keen on big tracks. Little tracks with like Skegness got wide bends, and if you've got a car that handles well, it feels like you're so quick. It's like Mildenhall, where it's a tricky little track, and you've got to be set up and going well. I mean, but I don't mind. I've always done well around like Buxton, but I just find tight bends, long straights, it's just not my sort of track.
They like the wide bend, get the car handling better.
Yeah, I just find, you got room, like Skegness got room to run wide and just carry some speed. Pretty good, I think, Skegness.
Over recent years, there's been a decline in tracks that the V8s race at. Are there any tracks that you particularly miss racing at?
I mean, I suppose everyone would say Coventry, but Coventry for me was, I don't know, it was a jinx for me. I never done well at Coventry. I won probably over my racing career. I've probably only won about, but yeah, I mean, hasn't really sunk in because of what's been going on at Stoke. I think in the end, when we get back racing regular, I think I'll miss Stoke because I always enjoyed going there. Always done well. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's a rough track," but I don't know. I think sometimes a few bumpy tracks and that bit of excitement, isn't it? It's sort of, I think that's probably one I'll miss.
You're arguably the most successful driver in the Formula's history, with more national points than any other driver. Does that ever cross your mind? And if so, how does it make you feel?
It probably weren't until like a year or so I sat down and sort of thought about it a bit. But well, yeah, I suppose a lot of people haven't achieved that. I mean, I know some people haven't achieved any major championships. So yeah, I suppose when I look at it, it is quite an achievement to do what I've done. I mean, I wouldn't change it. No, it's pretty impressed with what I've done.
Do you think that's adding? Sorry.
Now, before that, I never really thought about it. I just, another year, and I just got on with it. Didn't really think much about it, but till like the other year.
Do you think that might add a bit more pressure to you for future races?
Not now. It did. There were stages where it did. I must admit, when you had the silver, you need to. I find when you got the silver roof, you got to go there every week, and you got to be on form every week. You can't go there and be slack because people, people don't notice when you're quick all the time. But as soon as you have a bad meeting or something, they soon notice. So you got to carry every week, in and out. You got to be quick. So there's a bit of pressure with the silver, I think.
Looking back over your career, which out of your points titles would you say was the toughest?
I'd say my first full season in 2003 with Mick Rogers. When I nearly gave me a car, and I saved up for my own engine, and I was determined. I wanted to win the points. That was my aim for that year. I was going to win the points.
No pressure then.
No pressure. And I suppose a lot of Mick then was really dominant at race. Go every meeting, he'd be winning every meeting. So I knew it was going to be hard going. And I think, if I remember, it come down. There was 2 meetings to go, and one was it was at Northampton, and come the final, I think I was about 30 odd points ahead of him, and got going. I didn't really think of much. I went first. I don't know if you hung back or what, but I can't even remember seeing him coming. But next thing you know, I remember Darren Summers saying to me, he said, "You just come past us like a tortoise." Going towards the fence, but I managed to bounce off and ride it and got going again, and I still finished. And I don't think Mick finished. I'm not sure what happened to it. But then that gave me a few more. But in the national, he didn't come out for some reason. He'd loaded up, so I went on to win the national. And I think I was about 49 points ahead, and the following meeting was Coventry. Well, Coventry had never had a national, so it was a big weight lift off my shoulders. I'd done what I need to do, and it's such a relief to do it.
Throughout your career, you've won 4 world titles. Which would you say is your most memorable?
I would say Skegness. I think 2015, the second time I won at Skegness. That probably sticks in my head because those sort of years I was really quick on tarmac, and definitely I was favourite to win it. I mean, world finals I never really took them that seriously. Try and shut them out, try and treat it as another race. So so I don't get nervous or anything like that. I'm in my own little zone. But that one, I don't know. I knew that was my chance. The pressure was on me, and leading up to it, things I never done. It's like the week before, I stripped my car. I put a new clutch in it. I put new diff carrier, new half shafts. I just didn't want anything to let me down. I went through it. Yeah, and right up to the meeting, it's. I remember going to scrutineering, and for some reason they never used to check ground clearance with the driver sat in. They decided to do it, and I was close, so we altered my car for that. It's little bits and pieces. Like I made sure I had 3 sets of tyres with different stagger, just in case I went in practice and it weren't no good, which I never really bothered with. Yeah, and it's just I was part next to Tom Harris because I get on quite well with Tom Harris, and he said, "It's going out for practice." He said, "Just do a couple of laps and pull off. Don't do any more. Couple of laps." But I didn't. I went out and I'd done the whole practice session. I just kept going. Like, a couple of laps. I thought I ain't actually, and I kept going and going. Until I thought no, and before I knew it, the flag was out and it had finished. But yeah, and like come into the race, I had in my mind what I was going to do, and it didn't plan out. We had the briefing, and they said, "There's the white tyres. Do not go before that tyres. You go before that tyres, and I'll dock you." And then, so like that was on. So I had in my mind I was going to just keep everyone rolling really slow, so there's knee stop, and then jump for it. Because I had Carl Hawkins on the outside of me. I had Simon Sykes behind me. Right. But with Simon, I don't know. He was a character, Simon. I mean, I was expecting to end up in Fantasy Island with him because he was always an hard driver to pass.
Yeah.
On the rolling lap, it didn't plan out, and Carl Hawkins got the jump on me. So I was sort of tucked in behind him and waiting to end up in Fantasy Island, and it never come. But it never happened. And I followed Carl Hawkins back 2 laps, and it come up behind him. And problem is the track was a bit greasy where it had been raining, and all the dirt, wet skinners get like a lot of the dirt comes on and makes the track really greasy. But yes, I just drove up the inside of him, which was probably in a world final shouldn't have done. But watching the video now, I just pulled about 3 car lengths coming out the bend from him, and I just.
You got the power to get through.
I don't know what it was, but just handling around the bends, and I just pulled and never to see him again.
Do you think that was down to all the prep then that you'd done that time before going out?
Might have helped. I don't know. It's just, it's something I've never really done. I've done it. The pressure was there, and I thought, I've got to do it. You know, even I remember Chris Bracey coming to me before that. He said, "This is yours. You can't. You're going to win it. It's yours. You can't lose it." And I thought, well, I knew I had the biggest chance. This was my biggest chance to do it. Where before in like 2007, 2008, when I went before, it weren't. Do you know what I mean? I weren't. It was a surprise that I won it to me,
Right.
rather
Right.
than a chance. So yeah. And there's just other things that stood out about that race as well. It's like when I won it in 2007, 2008, nobody really sort of took no notice. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But in 2015, it's like everyone was coming up to congratulate you, like a lot of the F1 drivers.
Right.
And I went to Bellevue the next day, and like they was all coming up to congratulate you. But I'd never really sort of had that before. And it's like that's when they sort of saw why it stood out, because people took notice, I suppose.
Do you think that's probably because it was your third one, your third world title, or were there any other reasons you could think of that it might have been?
Oh, I don't know whether V8s went through more of a state, more following of whatever. I don't know. We was on with the F1s. I'm not sure what it is, to be honest.
Okay. Are you still hungry for more titles, or are you now content and happy to settle for just the enjoyment of the racing?
I suppose I'm going to win if it is fun or not. But yeah, I like chasing the points. I think the points is a big achievement to me, bigger
Yeah.
than a world final or any world championship. It's something you achieved over the years. So yeah, I'd say I still go to win and win championships. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't bother going. So yeah, but yeah, it has become more. I would say it's become more fun now than what it was back probably 7 years ago. If I don't
Yeah.
win, I don't win. I'm not fussed about it really.
Just enjoying it.
Yeah, enjoying it. Still trying to win.
Over the years, you've raced and competed against some great drivers. Who would you say has been your biggest rivals?
I, I should think. I said all the way through my life, my racing career, I've had rivals. When I started, there was Mick Rogers, and then, like I say, Chris Brazier, Chris Fort, towards Adam Joyce. So yeah, they've all been rivals. I couldn't say one what stood right out to be right up there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's hard to say. They're all good drivers. All, do you know what I mean? They all challenge you, and yeah,
Which is
so I couldn't pick one out of that lot.
I mean, that's four very good drivers there. I can see, why you choose those. Which is your most
Yeah,
memorable on-track moment?
most memorable on track moment.
Yeah.
I think me, Chris, and Craig went through a stage and having some good races. Nothing, hit them wide and go, or no, like deliberate fence or that. But we went through a stage doing that for quite a while, and like it was really enjoyable. I think sometimes I got fed up and got on with it, but we did have some good racing, and it never got out of hand. Even like everyone had a laugh back in the pits, had a joke about one another, and yeah, I think I really enjoyed that. There was nothing serious. Not, do you know what I mean? It weren't serious. It was we were still racing, but it's just sort of having a play about, get
Bit
stuck
of
into
fun.
one another. Yeah, he give you a tap wide, next bend he give you a tap wide, then Craig will come in or something, and then give him a tap wide, then Chris comes torpedo in and gives you all a tap wide, then you catch it. Yeah, it was good racing, I found.
Have there been any funny moments or memories from over the years that you'd like to share?
What, on track, off track,
Either,
bit of both.
bit of both.
Yeah. I always enjoy Skegness weekends. Not so much for the racing, but we go downtown after, and Stephen Bowman, he comes with us. I mean, that bloke. If you've got a party and need a bit of entertainment, you just need him. You don't need
I'd
anything
have to
else.
invite him along then.
Yeah, even without a drink, it's just the highlight of the party. I mean, we go downtown, we have such a laugh in Skegness. It's just unbelievable with him. He just makes the weekend, I reckon. if you have a
on track.
few wins at racing, it's even better. But yeah.
Over the years, not only have you raced V8s, you've also built quite a few cars for other drivers. How much satisfaction do you get from that? Do you enjoy seeing the vehicles being driven well and performing well, as in the case of Ollie Spencer when he won the 2019 world title?
Definitely, 100%. I mean, yeah, it was good to see Ollie win it, and that was my old tarmac car, so it's even better for that. Yeah, yeah, definitely. The last few years or so, I prefer to see. It's good to see people winning my cars rather than me winning. I think sometimes,
Right.
because I've been there and done it, and to see other people win, it's really good. Yeah, I mean, I was going to build a car for Simon Sykes, which I was really looking forward to, but obviously work commitments, it didn't happen. So yeah,
Yeah.
I was really looking forward to that, about helping him set it up, and like, because I think he could have been really quick.
What sorts of challenges do you find in keeping on top of the design of a car to enable it to outperform the rest of the field now that the quality of other cars is improving?
Yeah, it's getting hard because there is a lot of quick drivers with a lot of good kit out there now. It's not like it was probably 10 years ago when you only had a few. There's a lot right through the grades, and with the rules, what don't change a lot, it's hard to find new things to try all the time. I mean, I think last year done me a bit of favour really, because when I was going to the meetings during lockdown, I'd use those as practice meetings. So I'd try
Yeah.
more easier to try things and gamble. It didn't matter if you didn't win or score points. I tried a few things. I learnt a few things where in other years I'll go racing and think somewhere near right. I'll just stick at it. Where yeah, it helped me last year. I think I learned a bit more. You're always learning something new. There's always a trick to learn. And
Yeah.
yeah, I learned last year. Definitely, tyres are a big key in these. You got to get the tyres right, and yeah, your car could be brilliant, but without the right tyres, you're wasting your time.
No. So if you could have a race with 5 drivers from either the past or present in a shootout, who would you pick?
5 drivers, tricky one. I would go with Andy Smith, Ray Witts, I'd say. Probably Neil is best, and I'd choose some more modern ones now. Probably Chris Brazier.
Yep.
I mean, and then last what we got? Last one. I would say like Ollie Spencer. I'd say something like that.
Yeah.
I reckon
Good,
Ollie.
good
Yeah.
talent coming through. Yeah.
You got a choice. You got a good choice. Do you know what I mean? I'd love to see how quick I would be against the likes of Andy Smith and Ray Witts.
Yeah.
It would in their day. It'd be interesting to see. I think.
So when you're not racing or building them, how would you usually spend your spare time? Have you any other hobbies?
Um, uh, Not really. No, I wouldn't say hobbies as such. I mean, go out with the family for meals, and in the summer, I like to go out riding on the bikes with the kids. We're quite fortunate. We've got a big National Trust park behind us, so we just go in the evenings, go out there, ride around there for a
Fantastic.
couple of hours. So yeah, apart from that, no. Nothing else really.
It's all cars then, isn't it?
Stock cars,
Racing.
yeah. Stock cars probably a big part of it.
Yeah. But I don't think it leaves much time, does it, for anything else? Spare
No,
time wise.
no. Stock cars takes up a lot of time. So yeah, no.
So where do you see the sport going in the next 5 to 10 years?
Um, job to say in it. I mean, everything's there. Everything's there. It just needs to be together. I mean, you lot are doing a good job of doing what you're doing. I think we get like you get 60 registered drivers a year, but you don't seem to be able to get them all together at once. I mean, if you could get everyone together doing all the meetings, it'd be great. I mean, you'd have 40, 50 cars at a meeting. I mean, that'd be ideal, wouldn't it? But for some reason, it don't seem to happen. I mean, you get the odd meetings where you get 30 odd, and that's it, and then it dies off again. But yeah, if you could reflect together, it'd be brilliant.
I think that's it. Those bigger meetings where you get 30 or 40 cars out, I think, the crowd really appreciate that as well, don't they? I mean, it gives a bit more excitement on track as well.
Definitely. And it makes the racing a lot more better as well. If you've got a final with 30 odd cars in, you've got to get through that lot. I mean, it's hard to pick for the crowd to pick a winner. And I mean, you go to a meeting where you got 20 car final, you can guarantee there's going to be a chance of 3 people are going to win that final on tarmac.
Yeah.
It's normally one of the superstars. So yeah, I think that's what needs to happen. That's what I reckon. Yeah, not everyone needs to go to every meeting.
Okay, we'll tell them all.
Yeah, everyone needs. That's it. Everyone watching, get your asses out there.
Have you ever contemplated competing in the BriSCA F1 or any other formula?
Over the last few years, I've really looked at Formula 1s, but I'm one of these. I'm a person who, if I go, I've got to go to win, or I want to be good at it. And to me, I haven't got the budget for Formula 1s. You know what I mean? You got to have 2 decent cars at it every week.
So you're saying you're too competitive for it?
That's that basically. Yeah, I couldn't just go. Oh, we'll do the odd meeting here and there and have a bit of fun. That's not me. I want to go and be up there with the others and compete for the wins. And I mean, I like to look at like national hot rods. I've never really watched the races and that, but I just like the look of the cars. I wouldn't mind to go, but I don't think I'd be any good. I think I'd lose my temper, to be honest. I mean, you race out, you get stuck on the outside, and 5 cars come inside. And it's no, I'll probably end up getting banned, I reckon. I don't want just to sit in the garage and look at it and clean it, I reckon, but that'd be about it. Race it once, maybe, and get fed up with it.
Yeah, that's like, no, don't like it. Yeah, I'm gonna, sort temper out. Temper tantrum.
We'll just park it and clean it or something. It looks good.
Which other sports do you follow away from stock cars?
Normally on a Sunday I sit and watch the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll sit there sometimes and go, "This is boring," but I'll still watch it.
Do you think that's because it's non-contact then?
I don't think so. I just think one person gets out in a lead and he's gone sometimes, but I still follow it. I still enjoy watching it. I wouldn't say I would go and play cricket or anything like that. It's not me. I mean, my lad, he plays football and go and watch that, but I wouldn't say I'm one for sitting down and watching a football game on the TV. It's just not really my thing.
Yeah. Is there anyone you'd like to see give V8s a go?
You're never going to get any top F1 drivers come down to do it, are you? I mean, no. I would say some. I would like to see some of you get like the yellow and white top sort of race for once a year, and never like Tim Warwick, for instance. I know you probably enjoy it, but he spent all that time being yellow top. If you had a V8, you'd probably make red top or blue, do you know what I mean, and win some races. But he's obviously happy doing what you're doing. But someone like that, some of the lower grades of Form 1s, maybe they want to come out. They come have a go. I think. I don't know. They obviously enjoy what they're doing, but I think they get on a lot better, and they'd be further up the grades. Yeah.
Do you think the experience of being in the F1s and then coming back to doing V8s, that would be a massive benefit to them then?
Maybe, yeah. I just think the money they spend doing what they're doing week in, week out, they could come to V8s and have better kit and be superstar or red.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how I see it. I don't know. I suppose it's one of those things owning F1, isn't it? you sort of,
I've got it now. I'm not giving it up.
yeah. The other people, I suppose, someone like Little Jack Witts, they'd probably go straight for fun, but doing an old name coming back into it, doing the Witts name, where his dad was good, and even if he's done a few years, I think that'd be good to see, something like that.
Have you ever suffered any injuries while racing?
Yeah. When was it? 2016, I think it was, Northampton. I can't really, I still can't remember now what happened, but there was a bit of a battle going on in front of me, and they going down a straight, and they slowed up, and Brian Andrews hit me flat out, and it just knocked me out.
Yeah.
It knocked me out. To this day, I can't remember what results I got in the races, but the heats before, and I remember bits and pieces of like going back. I remember coming out to St John's. They asked if I was all right. I was like, yeah, I'm all right. Walked back to the lorry and sort of curled up in the lorry, and my brother took me home, dropped me off, and I just could not remember what had happened, what was going on. My missus phoned an ambulance, and they took me to hospital and checked me out and sent me home. And then so I just, following that, I didn't have no energy whatsoever. I just laid in bed all day, and come the evening, I started to be sick, so I had to go back to hospital. Spent the night in hospital, but yeah, it just turned out severe concussion. And that week, I just couldn't do it. I just didn't have the energy to do anything. I think I laid in bed till about the Thursday before I sort of got up, and yeah, that's probably worse. But it's one of those things where I didn't have no damage to the car or anything like that. I seem to take in it all, I think.
Right. It seems to be a common thing though with drivers, doesn't it? You know, I mean, they're talking with Chris the other week, and you know, he was saying, you know, he had this brave front on. No, I'm fine. Do you think that's a common thing with drivers?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. You don't want to see that you're hurt, and I think you don't want people to see you hurt, and I'm fine, but deep down you're not. It is. I think there's probably a lot more to do it as well.
Yeah. Do you think, you know, that it should be more, you know, they should feel more comfortable to be able to say, actually, no, I'm not feeling right?
Probably, yeah. Looking back now, yeah. When I was in the St John's, I should have said I weren't feeling right, but I was sort of had it in my head a bit. I was going to go back out for the national.
Yeah. I'm racing again, yeah. Not staying here.
When I got back to the lorry, that weren't going to happen. No way.
Yeah. Would you swap your world championships for 4 more points titles, or would you swap the 4 points titles for 4 more world championships?
I don't think I would. No, I think if I said yards, swap the world to points, I wouldn't be complete with it. I wouldn't have won everything I need to win. I think I'm pretty fortunate to have won the world 4 times and to win the points 8. Yeah, I think that's sort of complete. I've won every title I need, every major title. So no, I wouldn't swap them, I don't think.
So what does the future hold for you?
I would have, if we'd have probably raced last year, a full season last year, and we hadn't have got it, like COVID hadn't kicked in, I'd probably seen this as probably my last year racing. But obviously not now. Obviously I'll see what happens. I mean, I just feel I've done everything. I still enjoy going racing and stuff and that, but I just feel like I've achieved what I need to achieve, and like I've been doing it long enough. It's time to sort of look at other stuff. I mean, I'll race this year, and I'll probably race next year, and then see how I feel. If I still feel want to go racing, then I'll go.
Yeah.
But it might be like the cars will go up for sale, and I'll carry on racing till they're sold, and then whether I look at something else to race or just pack up completely. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. It's not like, yeah, I'm going to do it next year. That's it. It'd be see how I feel. See what I
I
feel
mean,
like the end of next year.
you mentioned your family. I'm just wondering, do you think any of your family would want to come into the racing scene like you have?
I mean, it will get next year. I mean, lad, he'll be 16, so
Yeah.
he's the age for it. But I don't know. I don't know. He's mad keen on football, so I don't know if that's going to change or he wants to keep playing football. You never know. He might say, "Oh, I fancy to go." Well, could be time for me to step down then.
Would you encourage him to go into it then?
If he wants to have a go,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's there to have a go. Don't know if he have my cars or he can buy his own, but I don't know. I mean, my
Have to earn
daughter's
some money.
my daughter, I don't know. She's got university and stuff to concentrate on now, so I can't. For a few years, she won't have the time, or I
Yeah.
don't even know if she's really interested. She probably would. She'd probably have a go.
So it
I'll let her.
might be another Stutchbury in the future then.
You never know. You never know. Even if I pack up, you might not see the end of the Stutchbury name in V8s.
So who are your top 3 drivers of all time in V8?
Of all time, it's quite a tough one because there's so many. If I had to choose, of all time, I would say probably Ray Witts be one of them. I think Chris Fort, he was a good driver, and he done well. And it'd be a tricky one between Chris BriSCA and Adam Joyce, really, because Adam was a good driver. I mean, I think if he'd have stuck at it longer, he'd have won a lot more. He probably could
Yeah.
have dominated the sport. But yeah, between those two, it'd be close. Those two at the third person. I mean, there's so many to choose from, isn't there? I mean, there's been a lot of good drivers, lot to choose from. So yeah, that'd be my top 3, I think. 3/4.
Is there anyone you'd wish to thank or anything you'd like to add?
I mean, I've got to thank my brother. I always say my brother because without him, I wouldn't be racing. He helps me no end, with the transport and so I get cars and financially sometimes bails me out. My family for putting up with me, Friday nights where I don't come home till about 12:30, where I get my car ready and gone early mornings on a Saturday. Yeah, they've really sort of stuck by me and let me do my racing and do what I want to do. Everyone sort of helped me really. I could name so many, but every single person was helped me with my racing. I generally thank them for their help, and yeah, from helping with the engines, Roy Allen helped me a lot through the years. So anything, anyone's helped me, I do genuinely thank them for all their help.
Well, it's been lovely to speak with you this evening. Thank you very much for your time and good luck for the future.
Thank you.